Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Podcast. This is the Men of Zen and Animation Research Podcast. My name is Brent.
And I'm Phil.
And today we are talking about Samurai Motherfucking Jack.
Jack.
Call me Jack, back to the past, say who won the Jack.
I don't know what he's saying exactly.
I don't know.
It's a bop. It's a flame.
It's a banger.
Kids call it.
And it's like both the future and the past collide, and there's a wonderful fucking a Cartoon Network original series from many years ago, and then also a few years ago after like a 13-year-long hiatus.
Yep.
When they finally decided, we should really end it.
Yeah, we should really finish this because it never was really canceled, but it just the fifth season never came out. 13 years later, we finally got it.
Yeah, so I watched this interview about this show, and I guess let me tell you a little bit about this before we jump into this interview real quick.
Hold on, real quick.
Ooh.
Fun fact. We were talking how much of a banger, how hard that theme song slaps. Did you know that it was written by will.i.am?
Yes, I did. will.i.am wrote that shit.
I
It's
did not
rad.
know that.
It's fucking cool, right? Samurai Jack, an animated television series that first premiered on Cartoon Network way back in 2001. I remember when this came out. This animation style, there's something about this that is so intriguing, and the thing that I constantly forget when I'm watching it is there's no black lines.
Oh, wow, yeah. Now that you mention it.
There's no black lines.
Holy shit.
They slightly offset the color of every edge just to slightly of what the color is of the object that it's surrounding.
Okay.
And I remember watching advertisements on Cartoon Network specifically about that, and I remember seeing that going, wow, that is weird. I'd never seen that style before, and it just makes everything pop. It just makes everything stand out that much more. And the other thing that you may not have ever noticed, there's never a blue sky and there's never green grass. Never. That was literally a rule that they had on the show. Genndy Tartakovsky, the guy who created this series, was one of the rules we had in the studio is never blue sky, never green grass, because everything has to be interesting or intriguing or mystical. They wanted to add some sort of alien element to everything. They didn't want anything to feel normal ever. So this show ran for 5 seasons. And did it end with actually 62 episodes?
Let's see here.
Was that the end?
I believe it did.
Because I remember that's how much it was back when season 4 ended.
Yep, it is 62.
Yeah, so season 5 is really strange because while that is episodic, it was actually a movie. And they just lumped everything together into one thing.
Yep, it looks like season 5 was only 10 episodes because Samurai Jack seasons 1 through 4 were about 52.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. This series has won numerous awards and critical acclaim for its innovative animation style, unique storytelling, and compelling characters, where the show follows the journey of a samurai, an ancient samurai warrior named Jack, who has been transported to a feudal Japan in a distant future ruled by the evil demon Aku. This is Jack's homeland. In the past is peaceful and idyllic and filled with lush forests and tranquil villages, but in contrast, the future is a harsh and bleak world of towering skyscrapers, polluted skies. The series is known for its vibrant visual style and attention to detail, which brings these worlds to life. At its core, Samurai Jack is a story of good versus evil. Jack is a noble, selfless hero who is committed to protecting the innocent and defeating Aku. He's also a master swordsman and a skilled fighter, but also has a strong moral compass and a deep sense of compassion. Throughout the series, Jack faces numerous challenges and battles and must often outsmart his opponents as much as overpower them. And this show is really interesting in a way that the original 4 series, or 4 seasons, they were not necessarily continuing storylines. It was just episodic. One thing happened each episode.
Right.
And that was it. And the reason for that was actually it had to do with Cartoon Network. They wanted it that way because they specifically said, we want to be able to play any episode at any time, out of order, in order, doesn't matter. We just want to be able to run show. So do show, and then we can just put it out there, and that's it. So it was a restriction that they had way back in the day. But now storylines and arcing like themes and longer like convoluted stories, that's the cool thing. So they specifically were like, okay, this time it's fine, go ahead and do something that's like continuous and carries on into the next episode. So they were able to get away with doing a movie instead. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, isn't there like some parts where like he meets certain characters that are reoccurring?
Yeah, there are reoccurring characters, but it's never like the end of one episode bleeds into the next. It's here's Jack doing a thing, and then here's Jack doing something else in the next episode. And every single one seems like it's some new kind of either moral thing for Jack that he comes across in this dystopian future where he's like, wow, life fucking sucks for these people here. Like, I need to try to help them as much as he can. Or sometimes it's learning a new skill or learning how to cope with life in the new world.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite, just oddest episodes I can think back to is Jack needs a new pair of shoes because he loses his like samurai clogs. I don't remember what they're called specifically, but he misses having those shoes. So he spends the entire episode shopping for shoes, and he tries like a million different kinds on. He goes into like this future Foot Locker, and this guy's like, try these shoes, and then he'd go try them out, and they would have like some weird power or ability, and Jack would be like, I don't like these. Or they didn't work out, or like they would somehow cause destruction. Like he got a pair of like basketball shoes that had like the pump up the tongue, and it made his shoes like super big, and he's like, hell yeah, I can run really fast. And he decided he could run like too fast, and it was causing problems where he like couldn't slow down and he was crashing into shit. That was fucking funny. But yeah, there's always something like interesting like that with this eerily like silent protagonist.
Right. And that's a big thing, is that Cartoon Network originally wanted the creator to make it more of a comedy and take out some of the action bits, but he was like, absolutely not. Like, this is, in comparison to his other series that he worked on, he wanted this one to be primarily more a serious tone.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, looking back on it and like all the shows that were on Cartoon Network at the time, I feel like Samurai Jack is one of the more adult, like adults could sit down and watch this and enjoy this. It's a more of a serious tone. That a lot of there wasn't a whole lot of that in Cartoon Network around that time, and that absolutely bled in to season 5 when they wrapped everything up, and actually Adult Swim got the streaming rights to it. So like it wasn't played on Cartoon Network, technically it was on Adult Swim, and it just, oh my god, like if someone were to tell me that I needed a adult, like bloody, more like what's the word, like a serious version of adult of Samurai Jack, like I would have been like, I don't know. I feel like the previous series that was pretty perfect, but nah, this was just absolutely amazing. And it felt like in the last 10 episodes, there was more character development for Jack than in the entirety of the previous 4 seasons.
Right. And that's again a lot because that they were actually able to continuously, have one really long story where they could actually show development, as opposed to we have about 15 minutes to show something fun, go. And that was really about it. And I had something that I was just thinking about, and I was I know like when this is one of the last shows of that era that, like you mentioned earlier, it really does bridge the gap between a younger audience and an older audience. It appeals to so many people, and that's actually one of the only reasons why we got a 5th season, was because this guy Genndy, whenever he would go to like any sort of panel conference for any show he's ever done, not about Samurai Jack, one of the first questions will always get asked is, "Are you going to finish Samurai Jack?"
Damn.
Yeah, and it was like this for years. And he's like, "I guess I never realized just how popular this show was. Like he knew it was a show that it was like successful, but he didn't realize there was quite this like big like cult following for this show that continued to hound him for, okay, we need to have this end." And when he got the deal from Cartoon Network or Adult Swim, the guy that he talked to, I think he said it was Mike Lasso. Those two were like buddies, and they like know each other pretty well. And he said they've got like such a big rapport with each other that he like pitched him the idea, and almost immediately he was like, within like, it was like 48 hours, he's like, "Yep, cool, you're good, go ahead." And like they just like greenlit it like ASAP. And he said it reminded him of like shows back in the days of yore, as opposed to now where we have such a high standard for what is and isn't going to make the cut in animation or just entertainment in general, that he's like, "Cool, we got this like immediately." And I thought that was really cool. But yeah, he got to go back and try to, after 13 years, he had to like go back and almost relearn what it is to make Samurai Jack. But he had a whole new set of tools. Nothing was hand painted or hand drawn anymore. Everything was digital. Yep. So he was like really focused on, how do I recreate the old show with all of this new tech and still have it feel like the old show enough that you're like, it's recognizable, but we also need to age the show because our audience has aged.
Yeah.
So it was
like, this is not made
really
for
cool.
like new audiences. Like, this is made for the people that grew up with it back in 2001 to 2003.
Yeah.
And I love when series does that. They grow up with the audience. Not enough shows do that, in my opinion.
No, not enough.
They just stick to one general audience, and they just never try to evolve.
Yeah.
And I really like that about Samurai Jack.
Yep.
This show has so many awesome, like, just hype moments. One moment in particular, just showed like, kind of like showing how amazing the art style was and the animation style was at the time. There's an episode where Jack is having to fight a ninja who uses the shadows to his advantage, and he wears all black and he blends in. So Jack decides to play his game, and he kind of messes with his all white robes to create an all white suit to copy the ninja. And he starts blending in with the light. And it's just this amazing fight that it shows the two of them like moving back and forth between the light and the shadows, blending into their surroundings. And it's such a really cool fight.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Like they had some amazing ideas, like artistically and visually, because this like animation style was so unique. Like there's other series that it does kind of resemble. And I know we bring this up a little bit later in here, but like Dexter's Laboratory, this is very similar to
Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff Girls.
Weren't they all made by him as well? Like, didn't he work on all three?
Yeah. I know he for sure had at least some hand in them. I don't know if he created them, but I know he was for sure like at least had some hand in that.
Now, what's funny is mentioning Powerpuff Girls, Professor Utonium in the show bears striking resemblance to Samurai Jack, even to like the point of like the similar jaw, design. They were all white. He's got slick black hair, and there's even a comic I remember once reading that shows Samurai Jack like walking home like exhausted. He opens this door, closes it, goes upstairs, takes off his samurai jacket, puts on a lab coat, slicks back his hair, and then he goes to wake up the Powerpuff Girls. I'm like, oh my god,
that's amazing. I don't think I've seen that. That's amazing,
right? Like, that's why Professor Utonium disappears. He's out fighting
Aku.
He's out fighting Aku.
It's so fucking amazing.
But speaking about the series and kind of going into a bit more detail, kind of touching upon some things we talked about earlier, the series is notable for its unique storytelling style. Each episode is relatively self-contained, with Jack facing a new challenge or foe, essentially, new villain of the week type thing.
Yeah.
However, there are overarching stories with themes that carry throughout the series. In addition, many episodes feature minimal dialogue and rely on visual storytelling to convey their messages.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. It's just, they don't like over flood you with like exposition and talking about every little thing. You could just like you know what's happening in the story just by watching, and you kind of can understand what they're thinking. It's a really cool style of it feels like an anime.
Yeah.
Honestly, it feels, similar to Avatar: The Last Airbender, where it just feels like it's American anime at this point. I really like that. This creates a cinematic feel to each show, with each episode feeling like a miniature film.
It really does.
Yeah, it's such a I remember watching this, and just it was. I feel like I was back to being a kid again in some ways. But like as an adult now, I understand more about what's going on with the show because I really haven't watched this show since I was a kid, and a lot has changed in that time. And it's just, I feel like I grew up with the show, and if that makes sense in a way.
Oh yeah,
it's just I understand what's going on now because I can think.
the oppression of the future and just how bleak it is under the rule of evil tyranny, and it's really crazy. And the characters that you meet in this are so unique and so original. And the same thing with all the villains that you come across. Every single one is insanely unique, and they had the opportunity to do whatever they wanted with these. It does not have to just be another swordsman or another guy. There was like the giant, like the white monkey guy, when he learns how to fly through he learns how to fly through the trees with the monkeys.
Oh yeah.
And there was like another crazy monkey that he had to fight while he's in the forest, but some of these animals are equipped with guns and lasers and
Are you
shit.
talking about a hit monkey?
Not hit monkey. I don't know. How would Samurai Jack do with hit monkey? That'd be a tough fight.
That'd be a cool match.
Huh.
Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Who would win, Hitmonkey or Samurai Jack?
That's
all their weapons and skills on the table.
Ooh, does Monkey have Ghost? Does he have his spirit guide?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I think so.
That's fair. He never really helps out much anyway. So.
That's true. He's just there for exposition and just talking about he's trying to be, because Hitmonkey can't talk, so he's got to talk.
Right. That's fine.
Right. After the show was greenlit, Tartakovsky, that's going to be an interesting name to say, began working with a team of writers to flesh out the world and characters of Samurai Jack. One of the standout features of Samurai Jack is its animation style. Like we talked about earlier, the series is known for its blend of traditional and computer animation, along with its use of vibrant colors and bold artistic choices. The creators drew inspiration from a variety of sources, including Japanese anime, classic Western cartoons, and even avant-garde art. The result is a unique visual experience that stands out from the other shows in the genre. Mm-hmm. The team faced some challenges, though, during the development process. One of the biggest hurdles they had to overcome was finding the right voice actor for Jack. They eventually settled on Phil Lamar, who brought a quiet intensity to the character that perfectly matched Tartakovsky's vision. I love Phil Lamar. He has surprisingly done a lot of things.
Oh yeah, dude. I didn't realize just how much until I started, doing research on this. He's a voice that I knew. He's a name that I knew. But I don't know if he got his start, but he was on Saturday Night Live. But he's done other shit. So he was in the Green Lantern in the Justice League series and Justice League Unlimited. He plays Jon Stewart, or the Green Lantern. Mm-hmm. Hermes Conrad in Futurama, which I know we knew that. Samurai Jack as the main protagonist. He was the main protagonist in Static Shock.
Well, hold on. I think that the Static Shock is the Static Shock version that was in Justice League Unlimited, because there's an older version.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah, because I'm fairly
that would
positive.
Make sense.
I don't know. Hold on a second.
Because everything that I researched just said he was the titular character of Static Shock, and that was it. And that was, I think I found that on Wikipedia.
I need to hold on. I need to find out about this.
He also plays Master Kit Fisto in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. He also plays Orfrey Ta in Star Wars: The Bad Batch more recently, which is really cool, right? Lamar has also provided voices for video game franchises including Metal Gear, Jak and Daxter, Darksiders.
Yeah, you're right.
Final
by the
Fantasy.
Way, he did play young Static Shock. So that's range. That's a high voice.
Yeah,
He was.
it doesn't sound like him quite. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
He was in Infamous, Dead Island, Kingdom Hearts, Mortal Kombat. He also played as Brown-Tooth, the Goblin Rogue, in Critical Role one-shot called The Goblins. So if you listen to Critical Role, Phil Lamar plays some characters in there. And what's cool that I want to mention when we're talking about, since we mentioned Star Wars real quick, one of the reasons why the show just kind of ended, again, this wasn't another one of these interviews where they talk about how creating a new show, like the process is such a grind to do that he's like, okay, we did the first season, and the first season everyone was hyped, the show was amazing, we were getting our bearings. Then season 2 was just like, okay, now we just keep going. In season 3 he's like, okay, this is getting old. And then season 4 they're like, how many episodes is this? Is this almost done? Are we at the finish line yet? And then they just ended it, and they said immediately, they think even the next day, they started work on Star Wars The Clone Wars, because they were like the same studio behind that.
Yep, the miniseries, which was one of my favorite pieces of animation, which I knew immediately watching it as a kid. I'm like, this is Samurai Jack.
Yeah, it's Samurai Star Wars.
Like, oh, it's so good.
It's such a good series. If you haven't seen that, that's phenomenal. But yeah, they said they just got like so excited and wrapped up in Star Wars that they were like ready for something else, and they just kind of moved on without second thought. And that's why they never really realized just how popular the show was, because it was grind. Thank God we're done. Let's do something else.
But like, they weren't done. Like, they didn't finish the series. So like, I can understand why people were constantly hounding him about like, hey, when are you finishing Samurai Jack? You can't make 4 seasons of a show that people really love. You have a very devout following. There's a huge amount of people that like it. And then just like, you know what? I think we're good here. And just not even finish it.
Yeah.
That would just, imagine if Samurai Jack never got finished.
Right.
Imagine if we didn't get that ending. People would still be like, when the hell are they finishing Samurai Jack? Almost 20 years later, you know, if they never got around to season 5. But I'm so glad they did. And I feel like they learned and grew up to a point where like they really just made this show for the fans. Like the last season. And that was so good.
Yeah, and you know, I'm never 100% why it was like fully canceled. It just says they moved on to other projects. And I think for them, it was just they were tired, and they were feeling, I don't necessarily know about uninspired, but just that they had been on this one thing for so long. They're like, okay. But they also said that they were all really big Star Wars fans. So it's like kids with ADHD. You're like, okay, I love this thing, don't get me wrong, but I'm fucking sick of seeing it. I want to do something else.
If
and you just abandon it.
If The Simpsons can make 40 plus seasons, I will not take that as an excuse.
Well, I mean, with Matt Groening, I don't know. He's from the future.
He knows things.
He already knew that there was, like, he knows that there's 60 seasons of the show, and he goes, shit, this doesn't happen unless I go back in time and make these shows now. So he's he has this obligation to keep, you know, time on track in our past, or if he doesn't, the world ends.
I hate it.
You know, I mean, Matt's been right about so many things.
It's scary how accurate that show is.
It really is.
Like, they make scenes, they animate scenes, and then years later, those scenes happen.
Like, exactly.
To the point where people like Simpsons can predict the future. Mm-hmm. And like, look it up online, guys. If you aren't aware of this theory, look it up. It's insane how accurate they can be. There has to be something more. The
one that convinces me is Donald Trump going up the escalator.
I was thinking that exact same one.
And there's this guy holding a sign. I don't remember what the sign says, but he drops the sign and it like hangs at an angle. Simpsons did that shit like 15 years exactly. Like, you could almost play them side by side and it's the same fucking thing. Yep. There's a guy holding a sign who almost drops the sign. Donald Trump is going up the escalator.
Well, didn't the sign say something like, you know, President Trump or Trump for president or something like that?
And that was what like predicted like the Trump presidency. But how do you come that accurately to predicting the future about so many things unless you are actually from, like, maybe that's his secret to success, is that he is from the future. and he knows
God.
these things, and he's one of the few time travelers that made it back into our dimension and our
Christ.
time. Man,
if
that'd be
y'all
fucking
want
crazy.
if y'all want us to do a Simpson episode, let us know in the comments below.
That'll be gladly do.
That will be
Simpsons.
an interesting one. But Brent, hey, you know what? Tell me about some other really cool voice actors like Makoto Iwamatsu.
Oh, dude, Makoto Iwamatsu, or Mako. We've talked about him before in I think it was our 5th episode that we ever did, like last year when we talked about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah,
so he's a Japanese American actor. He was born December 10th, 1933. He unfortunately passed away July 21st, 2006 to medical complications. I don't 100% remember what that was. I think it was something to do with his heart. However, he is mononymously in every single one of his like acting roles. He's just simply known as Mako. In a couple that I did not know about because I haven't seen, but maybe in the off chance someone older is listening to this podcast, he played Akiro in the Wizard in Conan the Barbarian in 1982, as well as Conan the Destroyer in 1984. But later in his career, he became well known for the voice acting roles that include Aku in the first 4 seasons of Samurai Jack from 2001 to 2004. And he also played Iroh in the first 2 seasons of Avatar: The Last Airbender from 2005 to 2006. He died at the age of 72 from esophageal cancer. So he had throat cancer, it sounds like.
Aww.
That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, the guy was such a talented voice. He's in so many different fun things. Like we were just looking at some of this earlier where he played like Duck Dodgers. He was in, oh my God, what else was it? He was in Jag. Like he did some acting, some voice acting. It wasn't all just voices. He was in an episode of Frasier. Magnum PI.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? Shit, I can't think of Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. He was in Dexter's Lab. He was the narrator. But it looks like it said that he was only there for 13 episodes.
I don't remember much of a narrator in that series, so that might be why.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. And I swear to God, there was something else that I was missing that I thought he was in, but I couldn't find it. But there was something that was like right on the tip of my tongue that I was like, there was something else cool that I knew that he was in. Oh, he was in Rugrats in Paris, the movie.
Classic.
Back in 2007, TMNT, he was Master Splinter. Dude, fucking cool. Like the guy did so many fun roles, but yeah, like his wiki how is fucking insane. He has hundreds. Like I'm not even gonna attempt to list all of this shit.
The voice acting cast for this show is all over the place, but it's incredibly talented actors.
It's a pretty small, well, I don't know, there's quite a lot, but there's so little voice acting in each episode that it's very spread out.
Right.
I guess the third, at least more prominent one that I had to speak about specifically, I know there was one you were talking about earlier today, Greg Baldwin, who was the voice for Iroh in the final season of Avatar: The Last Airbender, because Greg Baldwin was the like understudy for Mako, and I thought he was like his like a voice apprentice like sort of thing. Like Mako like trained Greg Baldwin to do voice acting, and that's so Greg Baldwin can do almost every voice that Mako can do, at least his like deep ones and shit.
I'm not sure I don't know if I've like heard of that specifically, but I mean like that makes sense. I mean like if you're training someone to like take over for you,
yeah.
Because if you know you're sick and you want to make sure someone can do the roles that you've been doing, like that makes sense.
I don't even necessarily know if it was because he was sick. Like I know for sure for Avatar, I'd have to go back and look. I'm pretty positive for Avatar he was 100% his understudy, but I thought Mako did like trained him in some way. But yeah, so Baldwin covered for him for the end of that. Greg Baldwin was also Iroh for, well, let's say, I don't know if he was Iroh. No, yeah, he was Iroh for the third seasons of The Legend of Korra. He can also be heard as the ancient Jedi Master Tara Sinube, and as Cassis on Star Wars The Clone Wars. He also provided the voice of multiple characters in Lego Star Wars, The Freemaker Adventures, and most notably the voice of Furlock. He voiced Aku in the 5th season of Samurai Jack. And Greg Baldwin's pretty cool too. I know he's done a shit ton of stuff that I think we've heard in the past. But yeah, no, I'm glad that like Mako was able to have somebody fill his role that was so familiar with his work and was very similar. Like it's honestly kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, I guess it's easy for me to pick up on some differences. So I immediately heard the differences and I was like, okay, like, but it's still good. Like after a little bit of listening to him, like I got used to it. Very talented actor.
Yep.
100%. Talking a little bit more about the show here, the show has been highly praised for its character development, like we were talking about. Jack is a complex and layered protagonist who grows and evolves over the course of the series. He is not simply a one-dimensional hero, but rather a character with flaws and vulnerabilities. His journey is filled with both triumphs and setbacks, and he must confront his own limitations and doubts. His allies and enemies are also well-rounded characters, with distinctive personalities and motivations. Yeah, I really like a lot of the characters that were in the show. The Scotsman is like, that's his his real friend. That's his first real friend he made in the future. And of course they start out as enemies, but eventually, become like, they have to fight together, back to back, and they develop a respect for one another.
Yep.
And that's like plays into a little bit even more in the final season where like there's a huge time skip.
Yes.
Which is really cool. I didn't realize there was like a huge time skip.
So it's about 50 years.
Yep, 50 years.
And Jack didn't age during all of this because of some...
They explain that basically him being sent back in time messed with his DNA.
That's what it was.
To the point where he's actually immortal. Like he will not age, but he can still die from like poison, of course, being murdered.
Yeah.
So it's just, he will have eternal life as long as he doesn't, kill himself.
That's crazy. Like knowing what I know about the end of the show, like the show ends, I think, beautifully. It has a wonderful ending that I both love and hate.
Yeah, like I hate how much I love it, but I love how much I hate it. Like if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
no, totally. And it's a great ending. It is one that like I think is fitting for the series to actually give the show some finality.
Right. But then like you mentioned, it's the fact that we know he's immortal. Like, are we kind of just expecting he just lives forever?
Is that why we have Professor Utonium?
There is a scene where in the first episode, I believe it is, where you see a billboard for like dog food. There's the exact same billboard in Powerpuff Girls.
Yep.
The exact same one where it looks like it's a destroyed oh my god, what town they live in? I don't know.
Townsville.
Townsville. Yes.
The city of Townsville
is under attack. Yeah, like that's another thing. I don't know if he just kind of threw that in there as like, hey, we can use these same backdrops we use from Powerpuff Girls. We'll just mess it up a bit.
Maybe. But like maybe Professor Utonium's like quest to make the perfect little girl was because of a certain something. So
oh my god, I want to make that. I want to make that fan fiction.
That'd be fucking amazing, actually.
Oh man, the series also deals with weighty themes and issues, despite being targeted towards a younger audience. Throughout the show, Jack is forced to confront ethical and moral dilemmas and must grapple with the consequences of his actions. The show touches on topics such as destiny, redemption, and the power of memory. These themes make the show accessible to viewers of all ages and adds depth to the story and characters. One of the biggest things, like a tone change, when it comes to season 5 is a lot just more darker themes. In fact, there is a reoccurring theme early on that Jack he's on the verge of giving up.
Yeah.
And by giving up, I mean like he's fighting the urge to commit seppuku because he carries around a dagger, a ceremonial dagger that is designed for the sole intent purpose of committing seppuku. And he constantly fights that urge to do that to himself because he knows he can't die through any other ways, but he can certainly, kill himself. And
me too, Jack. Me too.
Jesus.
Seppuku is the way to go.
Oh my God. But like, that's a dark thing. They could not have thrown that in the original series.
Yeah.
Where it shows him finally, like, you know, getting his intensity back, his determination back, his resolve to end this. Because, you know, 50 years, I can't imagine 50 years of trying to get back to the past in any way he can. And every time he gets a lead, you know, about a portal that he can use to go back, Aku destroys it. And so he's constantly, like, every time he finds one, it's gone. And he gave up. Like,
in a way, it almost kind of reminds me of Obi-Wan Kenobi's story, where, you know, the newer series where there's that really big time skip where Obi-Wan was this like really badass lightsaber wielding fucking Jedi, but then over the course of, you know, several years, the Empire really fucking lays down the fucking law, and Obi-Wan like goes into hiding and has to just like live life as like a nobody, and he like has to practically forget everything that he was like taught. He couldn't train, so like he comes back like really weak at first, but he has to really like remember the reason why he has to stand up for what's right or what's good, regardless of the consequences. Now,
the biggest difference in this one is Jack still had for some reason, he wouldn't let anyone kill him. He had it set in his head that he was the only one that could do that. And he still like had to learn to survive. But, you know, slight spoilers here, he loses his katana.
Yep.
And because of that, he had to learn to fight with other things. Like he uses a laser pistol. He uses a dragon tipped as a spear with a dragon shaped point at the top that also emits electrical current. He uses kunai. It's like he uses armor too, like futuristic armor. It changed a lot after losing his main weapon.
He grew a beard.
He grew a goddamn glorious beard.
It was amazing.
Like, it's just, oh my God, season 5 was so good. One of the hallmarks of the Samurai Jack is its action sequences. The show's fight scenes are not only visually impressive, but also well choreographed and intense. Each episode features at least one action set piece, often culminating in a showdown between Jack and Aku's minions. The fights are dynamic and exciting, with Jack using his sword and other weapons to take on foes both human and supernatural. Love the fight sequences.
So good.
Like, it very much is like anime meets comic book. It's like you're looking at an animated comic book.
It is incredibly old school samurai black and white showdown. Yep. The blind samurai, any of like the Ronin sort of shit. It's all of it. It's totally brilliant. I love it.
In addition, the show is known for its humor. Despite its serious themes and subject matter, the show has moments of levity and comic relief. Many of the episodes feature comedic characters or situations, which add a lightheartedness to the show. The humor is often based on cultural references or parody, which makes the show accessible to older viewers as well.
Yep.
Pretty neat. I like that.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's really good that they have that ability to bridge older and younger generations. It makes for a lasting effect on the audience that really does carry with you, no matter how long it's been since you've seen this show. Even after 13 years, you jump right back into it and you're like, that's Samurai Jack. There it is. That's what I know and love. It's like he never left. He's right there.
I like it.
I love it. But hey, I think we're going to take a really quick break. We got a couple ads to listen to, and then we're going to try to speed run through a couple of this other stuff because we've actually got a shit ton more information than I thought we did. So hang tight with us here for a second. We will be right back.
What's up, gamers? Birds and Swords here. I'm Micah.
And I'm Alyssa. As part of the Barn Media Group, we bring you anything and everything from the world of video games.
Are we experts?
No.
But do we play a lot of video games?
Hell yeah, we do.
So come check out our gaming podcast, Birds and Swords, for insight, opinions, top lists, and all the fun that comes with talking about games.
Come laugh with us. Or at us.
So bring your bird and your sword.
Because it's Birds and Swords.
Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/thebarn. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/thebarn.
All right, welcome back to show. No, Phil.
To show.
Welcome back to show. This is podcast. My name Brent.
I'm Phil, the funny one.
And Phil just told me something that I had no idea. I guess I didn't see this on social media. What was it? Repeat what you just told me.
Our good friends at Birds and Swords, Micah and Alyssa. Alyssa, hey, congratulations. You just got engaged. And
Congratulations. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah.
They liked it and they put a ring on it.
He did. Zach Goodman. Goodman.
Is that his last name?
No, Zach's his real name. His
Zach,
first name.
Zach Goodman?
Zach Goodman. That is now his new last
She's going to be Alyssa Goodman.
No, it's Goodman.
Good man. No, that's all. It's good, man.
Yeah, it's Alyssa Goodman.
That's
that's
cool.
That is awesome. Congratulations, both of you.
Yeah, congrats.
We're super excited to one day do a crossover episode. It's going to happen, people. So
I keep talking about it. They had a bunch of hardware issues. They said their mixer blew up.
Oh no.
And now that makes me afraid for hours. I'm like, please no.
Oh no, bro.
Please no. I didn't know that was a thing. I don't know. But now I just every time I think about it, I'm like, oh God, what if our equipment shits out? I'm going to die.
Let's not talk about that, bro.
I know. I don't want to. I'm not going to bring it into existence here. But yes, we got a bunch of info here, so let's kind of blast through some of this. Another strength of this show, which we brought up a little bit earlier, is the music. And I'm pretty sure you even mentioned this. The series features a distinctive score composed by James L. Venable with contributions from Will Power and Tyler Bates. The music has a cinematic quality to it and adds to the show's overall atmosphere. It ranges from bombastic to melancholy and contemplative, depending on the needs of the scene. The opening theme song, composed by Will I Am, has become iconic in its own right, perfectly capturing the show's tone and style. Come Jack, back to the past, Jack. The series is also notable for its use of sound design. The sound effects are carefully crafted to match the action on screen, creating an immersive experience for the viewer. From the clang of swords to the whoosh of arrows, the sound effects add a layer of realism to the show's fight scenes. In addition, the use of silence and ambient noise is also effective in building tension and atmosphere. The silence sometimes in this show is absolutely key to what's happening in the scene, and I love it. Not even a hint of background music, just maybe there might even be just a light breeze. No, not even that. Sometimes it's just nothing.
They use the whole silence is golden very well. It just adds tension.
Yep.
And then you have the drum beats.
Oh, hell yeah.
That just hype you up. More like bongos, it almost kind of sounds like.
Yeah, they have it's a lot of tribal drums and stuff like that.
Yep,
that's really cool. In terms of the show's character design, the show features a mix of futuristic and historical influences. Samurai Jack, the show's protagonist, wears a futuristic samurai outfit which consists of a white robe, wooden sandals, and a long sword. This outfit reflects the show's mix of traditional and modern styles. The animation style is equally impressive, where Samurai Jack is known for its use of minimalism and simplicity, which places an emphasis on movement movement and action. Every movement and action is precise and impactful, making each scene visually stunning. And despite its popularity and critical acclaim, Samurai Jack was canceled in 2004 after 4 seasons. Fans and critics alike lamented the show's premature ending and called for a conclusion to the story. This led to the much-anticipated 5th season, which aired in 2017. The final season was praised for its conclusion to Jack's story, as well as its commitment to the show's unique style and themes. What a banger that last season is.
Now, did you know that, like, I didn't know this until I started watching season 5 and doing a bit more research into the show. The fact that, like, the blade and, like, the origins of Aku and where the blade came from, because the magical sword, I don't know if we even mentioned this, Jack wields a magical katana that was actually forged by 3 gods. The gods Odin from Norse mythology, the god Ra from Egyptian mythology, and Rama, the avatar for Ishnu, and the 3 of them created the katana with the sole purpose of destroying the evil being that eventually became Aku. He started as this black mass that just appeared in the world like millions of years ago. The 3 gods essentially beat him and destroyed him, but a small portion of him had escaped and found his way to Earth, where he slowly regained power by feeding on early humans and absorbing the life energy of the planet. Eventually, he was given life. This voidless, didn't have any senses. This complete, just black mass, like no sentiency. Maybe that's the word. That's the word. Maybe it was not a sentient person. It didn't have intellect. It was just this being that was trying to survive. It was only when it was poisoned by this magical arrow that he was given actually form, and he transformed into Aku.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's actually a lot darker. Like, he then forced the emperor, the Japanese emperor at the time that tried to kill him. He trapped him and forced him to watch him destroy cities and destroy the country.
That's sinister as fuck.
Only for the horse of Odin to free him, and then he was given the magical katana from the 3 gods at the time to slay him. And eventually he did seal him away, but eventually, hundreds of years later, he was able to return.
The seals weaken, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of that is incredibly similar to, I know Phil's not quite the book buff that I am. I read a shit ton of fantasy novels and like a lot of high fantasy shit. And The Wheel of Time. I don't know if you watched the first season.
Talked about it a lot.
It's a show on Amazon that does an okay at best depiction of what the Wheel of Time is like.
Way to sell it to me.
The show, no, I won't try to sell that to anybody. I don't know. I didn't care for it. Maybe you will since you haven't read the books, but man, there's so much shit that they skipped, got wrong, or just blatantly were like, no, that needs to change. And I'm like, it's painful for me. That being said, it is entertaining. I did watch all of it. I think it's done well. Just knowing what I know about the books, didn't care for it so much.
Right.
But the villain in that is just simply called the Dark One, and he is just this mass of negative energy that has been sealed away somewhere within the earth. And the storyline is that these seals that are all over all over the world are being broken, and the more seals that get broken, the more of him is able to seep through, and he is just basically the embodiment of evil. He doesn't necessarily have form. He is evil incarnate. He is the darkness within people's hearts made manifest, and that's it seems like it's very similar to that.
Interesting. I may have to try and look into everyone.
Yeah, that's
super
a great
excited
series.
for here. Genndy Tartakovsky. Nailed it. Genndy Tartakovsky is a renowned animator, director, and producer who has had a significant impact on the animation industry over the last few decades. He is best known for his work on the animated shows such as Samurai Jack, Dexter's Laboratory, and Dexter's Laboratory, and Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Tartakovsky had garnered widespread acclaim for his bold art style, which was creative storytelling and innovation in the field of animation. In 1977, when he was just 7 years old, he moved with his family to the United States in pursuit of a better life. He grew up in Chicago, I'm so sorry, and developed an interest in art and drawing at a young age. He attended several art schools, including the Columbia College in Chicago, where he studied film and animation. Just want to make a quick little note because I know there's going to be some people that are like, "Are you like trying to say something about Chicago?" I just don't like big cities.
Yes,
that's my big thing.
Yes, he is.
Yes, I don't like big cities. Chicago scares me. It's too packed full of people. Don't ever want to go back there.
Yeah, there's a couple like specific streets that I remember that I'm like, I hate doing it. I hate that there's like an upper fifth and a lower fifth. I hate that half the city is built on top of what used to be another city, and I don't like it. It's like the sewers of London, where there's like a whole other London underneath the old one.
Yeah,
I don't like that sort of thing.
And this is for any big city. I don't like big cities like Chicago, San Diego, New York. I don't ever want to be there.
Yep.
So don't take it offensive. I just don't like big cities. I don't
mind Chicago. The last time I was there with my girlfriend, we drove around actually so much that I started to get the hang of it, and I hated that.
I know.
I was like, I know where I'm going now, and
my anxiety is so crazy if I'm in Chicago driving.
Yeah,
like,
dude, it's nuts.
No.
Nope.
Tartakovsky's first big break came in 1991, the year I was born, when he was hired by cartoonist Ralph Bakshi to work on the animation for the comedy series Mighty Mouse: The New Adventures. This job allowed Tartakovsky to hone his skills as an animator and director, and he developed a reputation for his innovative animation techniques and unique art style. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yep. And since we mentioned Ralph Bakshi, I wanted to get a little bit into him because this man is fascinating as fuck, and there was only so much I can include. He's a weird dude. Holy shit. Ralph Bakshi, who's an American animator, director, and producer, widely regarded for his unconventional contributions to the field of animation. Very unconventional. Some of Bakshi's most notable works include Fritz the Cat in 1972, which is an X-rated animated film based on the comic strip created by Robert Crumb, Heavy Traffic, in 1973. A film about an aspiring cartoonist in New York City that explores the themes of racism and urban decay, and Coonskin in 1975, a provocative satire about African-American culture that faced significant controversy upon its release. And it's crazy because it was a satirical film that like so many people were like, that's racist, you can't show that. And he's like, but that's like, you don't get it.
Right.
Like, as soon as it was one of those that were like, people hated it at first until he like almost had to point it out to these guys like, hey, no, like, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, so maybe I'm racist? Like, he made a lot of people really question like what that whole dynamic was with racism at the time. It was crazy. Bakshi's work is characterized by its gritty, raw aesthetic and its willingness to tackle taboo subjects that were not typically portrayed in animation. His films often used a combination of animation techniques, including live-action footage and rotoscoping, to create a unique, immersive viewing experience. And I'm not 100% sure which one it was, but when fucking Roger Rabbit? Is that the fucking the cartoon one with the really busty chick?
Yeah, Jessica Rabbit, baby.
Right, when that show came out, he had another show that was almost exactly the same, and everyone's like, "You just ripped this off." And he's like,
well,
"No,
maybe
it
was
didn't."
a movie.
Yeah, same thing. But no, like he did something that was basically the same thing, same character, same things. Or he just like named everything different. And he's like, it's different. Like it's the same. He's like, no, it's not. We were doing it at the same time.
So now this is where our segment of why Jessica Rabbit is the bae is the ultimate waifu.
Damn.
No. We'll do that in another episode.
Yeah,
maybe.
Nope. But despite the controversy and mixed critical responses that some of his work received, Bakshi's impact on the animation industry cannot be overstated. His innovative approach to storytelling and animation helped pave the way for other artists to explore darker, more mature themes in their work. Today, Bakshi continues to create and inspire, and his legacy in animation remains a testament to the power of art to challenge conventions and question societal norms. And he actually still, I'm pretty sure, is still active on his, like he has a Bakshi's gallery or whatever, where he still makes like little web comics and shit. Like I'm pretty sure he's still active on there. So I
Okay,
thought that was pretty
good.
cool. But yeah, no, Ralph Bakshi is a super interesting dude. We could do actually looking at this guy, we could do like a whole episode on just Ralph Bakshi. It's
Good
fucking crazy.
Lord.
It's nuts.
Oh man. See, now I'm just thinking like, why does Jessica Rabbit, why is she more stacked than a can of Pringles?
Well, you know,
Questions for another time. In 1995, we're going back to Tartakovsky. Tartakovsky created his own animated series, Dexter's Laboratory, or Laboratory, for the Cartoon Network. You see, that makes sense.
makes
It's very
sense.
similar art style.
I wasn't sure if he created it or if he was just like the artist. Okay.
The show follows the adventures of a boy genius named Dexter, who has a secret laboratory hidden inside his bedroom. Don't even know how that works. Dexter's Laboratory was a critical and commercial success and helped establish the Cartoon Network as a home for original animated programming. Agreed.
Yep.
Loved that show.
One of the best.
Tartakovsky continued to work in the animation industry through the 2000s and 2010s, directing and producing several other successful shows, including Star Wars, The Clone Wars, Symbionic Titan, and Hotel Transylvania.
Yup.
Hotel Transylvania?
He did Hotel
The
Transylvania.
one with Adam Sandler?
Is Adam Sandler in that?
Yeah, he plays Dracula.
Then yes.
Oh my god. Wow.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yep.
He also directed the 2012...
Oh, yep, there it is. It's right fucking there.
Oh my god. That's amazing. Yep. Hotel Transylvania, which starred Adam Sandler and Selena Gomez, and was a box office hit. Yeah.
Woo.
One of the Tartakovsky's most notable contributions to the animated industry has been his use of innovative techniques and art styles. He has always been interested in experimenting with different animation techniques and pushing the boundaries of what is possible in the medium. He has cited several influences on his work, including Chuck Jones, Tex Avery, and Japanese anime. Totally see it. Knew it.
Yup.
Tartakovsky's artistic style is characterized by bold, graphic lines and expressive movement. He often creates characters with exaggerated proportions and distinctive silhouettes, which makes them instantly recognizable. His characters are also notable for their expressive facial features and fluid, dynamic movements. The Scotsman. That is
Dude.
the perfect example of that, is that you could see that, and I don't even know his real name. I can't think of his real name.
I think he's actually just called the Scotsman.
I thought he had a real name or something, but people just referred to him as the Scotsman.
Yeah.
Because
in the final season, so a lot of these characters
they did have
yeah, that's right. They gave him a name, and he said his family lineage, because now he's got a bunch of daughters or something.
That was the funniest thing. He straight up was like, my 100 daughters. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Hold on.
Wait a second. They look all around to be near the same age, which means man had to clap 100 cheeks at the very least around the same time.
It was an all-day fuck fest.
to make his army of buff Scottish warrior daughters. And I'm just like, that man lived the good life.
He is a legend.
And oh my god, I don't want to go into too much spoilers about certain things, but that, I love the Scotsman.
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
just little nods to things that they bring back in the 5th season that made me so happy. It was phenomenal. I loved it so much. We did this last time, and I'm going to continue doing this.
It's a new segment.
We asked ChatGPT to write a segment or an episode about the current show we are talking about, mixed with the last episode that we talked about, which was Initial D.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Initial S.
or Samurai D.
Samurai D.
Or Initial Jack.
Or yeah, it could be Initial Jack. Yeah. Oh man. One calm and peaceful night, Samurai Jack was strolling through the mountains of Japan when he saw a strange car passing by him at high speed. Jack, being curious, decided to follow the car and see where it would lead him. After a few minutes of following, the car stops in front of a small gas station. Jack walks up to it and sees a group of young racers gathered around the car discussing their next race. He noticed they were wearing some sort of racing suit he had never seen before. Intrigued by the group, Jack approaches them and asks what they were doing. The group introduces themselves as the Night Kids, a local racing team. One of the Night Kids, Takumi Fujiwara, which is, I don't think Takumi would ever be on the fucking Night Kids, but okay,
No.
ChatGPT, I'm going with it. Takumi Fujiwara recognized Jack from a time he had seen him in his fight against Aku.
What?
So Takumi was there.
He was hiding in the bushes.
Drifted fucking around this epic final battle. He's like, oh, hey.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
Slowly, he slows down his car just to watch the fight.
Yeah.
He's passing by.
He's just drifting sideways. Like, yes. There we go. Perfect drift. Takumi explained that they were race drivers and that they had a race that night. They invited Jack to watch and learn about their tactics. Not one to refuse the opportunity of learning, Jack agreed and followed them to a street race track. The Night Kids were competing against the Red Suns, a rival street racing team. Takumi was racing against the Red Suns' top driver, Keisuke Takahashi, a fierce and experienced racer. As they began the race, Jack watched from the sidelines in amazement of their skills and the way they maneuvered through the mountain roads. As the race progressed, Keisuke's driving skills proved too much for Takumi, and he fell behind. Keisuke was on the verge of winning when he suddenly lost control of his car and crashed. The accident happened in a particularly dangerous area where the barrier was low and one could easily fall off the cliff. As soon as Jack saw what happened, he rushed to the car to help Keisuke. When he arrived, he found him lying unconscious in the passenger seat. Jack, being a samurai, knew how to handle medical situations and acted quickly to help him. The situation was intense, as the race had stopped and both teams gathered around to see if Keisuke was okay. As he finally came to consciousness, he realized who had saved him, and he was amazed to meet the legendary Samurai Jack in person. The Red Suns team leader, Ryosuke Takahashi, who was also Keisuke's brother, thanked Jack for helping and decided to invite him to join them in the race. Jack, skilled as always, accepted. The race resumed, and Jack made sure to stay close while keeping his own car intact. The race continued on until the end, where Jack managed to overtake Keisuke and pass the finish line first.
What? Jack's never driven a car before.
He knows how to fucking drift, though. In the end, the Night Kids and the Red Suns honored Jack, welcoming him as one of their own. Jack thanked them, saying he had learned a lot from the experience and would always remember the thrill of the race. As he left, he thought about how much he had enjoyed this new experience and how grateful he was to have been a part of it.
You know, as you're reading that, I can just see it play out in my head.
It's great how thoughtful Jack is about that whole scenario and situation with just, it's him watching and learning and then executing what he's learned through patience rather than it doesn't necessarily take a shit ton of practice for him to do these things. It should, but because of how close attention he pays and the fact that he is so honed and disciplined in his skills, he could transfer his skills to driving on the course.
Man just grabbed the steering wheel and was like, I know what to do here.
This is easy. This feels right. Takumi would be proud.
Oh my god.
That was pretty funny, though. That was a good one. I don't mind that.
Did you know, fun fact, Jack is not his real name. Throughout the series, we never know what his real name is. Because the one time he was actually going to say what his name was, he got interrupted and people just started calling him Jack. So he was like, yeah, I'll stick with Jack. Probably because he doesn't want Aku to know his real name, or if Aku does know his real name, he doesn't want him to know that he's around. But I mean, that kind of falls through later down the line when Aku does know what's going on.
Yeah.
So basically, Samurai Jack, great show. Did you know that currently, as of right now, it has a 4.9 out of 5 on Google reviews?
I did.
And with Rotten Tomatoes, it has an average 93% for critics and 95% for audience score.
That Rotten Tomatoes score.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
It is a fantastic show.
Not a single 1, 2, 3, or 4-star review on the Google review. 5 stars only here.
Yep. One review by Pat Cahill. Why it rocks. Epic story. Awesome fight scenes in every episode. Jack, the titular character and protagonist of the television series, is overwhelmingly likable because of his awesome appearance and selfish action. selfless actions, not selfish, selfless actions. Aku is a great and terrifying villain, both hilarious and threatening. Ashi was the cutest character of the series. Beautiful animation. The graphical designs of this show are visually colorful, comparable to a painting. Absolutely incredible characters. There's so much, like, and when I tell you that, like, the first 4 seasons are great, fantastic. Season 5 is just a whole other level. And I will always recommend watching the first 4 just to get to that amazing season 5.
Yep, like there's beats in between. So like the main thing with the first 4 seasons is all about the connections that he makes with the people around him and how they help him later. Like once he has like their loyalty and their trust, they are like with him until the end. And that's what makes the 5th season so good, is the return of so many of these characters that you thought you'd never see again. And so many of them have like a reunion in some way. It's fucking awesome. It's great.
Right.
You gotta watch it.
So good. You can check it out on HBO Max, or you can pick up a copy of the complete series on Amazon. Right now it's on sale. It's like normally $112. Right now you can buy it for $45, essentially.
That's crazy. Is that DVD or Blu-ray?
Blu-ray.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. The entire series. I already hit order. As we were talking about this episode, I ordered a copy.
God, I want to, but now that you did, I guess I don't need to. I'll just borrow it from you.
Yeah, there you go, buddy. This is what best friends and co-hosts do. Share their anime.
Share their Blu-rays.
At least one of us buys Blu-rays.
Yeah, no, I don't anymore. I used to. I don't have shit up there anymore. That's all gone.
God, I'm just a library at this point. People borrowing games, movies.
Gotta get an Excel spreadsheet to like remember who checked out what. Put a fucking
$5, motherfucker.
Put a return stamp in there. Charge late fees.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking awesome. Shit. Well, I don't know if I have anything else really to add to the end of this. I know we mentioned repeatedly just how amazing this show is. So if you get the chance, absolutely watch it. Another way that you can watch this is on AdultSwim.com or on the Adult Swim app. You can stream it for free. However, it's just like back in the days of old when you don't get to pick what you watch. It's just you watch Samurai Jack and whatever's on is on.
Yep.
You don't get to pick it. It just runs as a marathon from beginning to end, 24/7, all day, every day. Just start it up, watch a few episodes, and then tomorrow do the same thing. Because again, like these were just episodic, so it doesn't matter what order you watch them in until you get to that 5th season. Once you hit like a 5th season mark, you better fucking sit down for the long haul and watch all 10 episodes in one sitting, or else you're not going to be able to see it again until the series goes completely through from season 1 to season 5 again. So just buckle up and watch all of that. Otherwise, yeah, you can just watch it whatever, whenever. It's awesome. It's a great series for that. I love that. But yeah, that reminds me a lot of like, Saturday morning cartoons. And you're like, it was great.
Times.
You didn't get to pick what was on. It was just, that was your entertainment for the week. It's Saturday. I can't wait to fucking have a big ass bowl of cereal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lay down in my bed, flip on the TV, maybe play some Game Boy, play some Pokemon, watch some cartoons. That was fucking awesome. That was the shit.
Getting nostalgic.
That's my therapy right there.
Who needs therapy? I got cartoons.
Yeah, at the top. That's an amazing. We should make that like a fucking sticker. Who needs therapy? I got cartoons.
But in all honesty, BetterHelp. You should check that out.
Yeah. Thank you so much for BetterHelp for
helpful.
sponsoring us. That's amazing. We know we've had a subscription or two from that, not necessarily from us personally, but just the barn in general. So it's amazing that we've been able to help somebody out in at least to some extent. That's fucking phenomenal. But hey, I want to thank everybody again for listening. You can catch us on all the social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think all of them are marked as either the Men of Zen or the Men of Zen podcast. So you can check us out on all of that.
Yeah, hit that like button.
We're
hit
gonna
the follow button.
Hopefully have some new content here on TikTok now that Phil's camera is actually working, so we can actually like record some shit. So watch us do nerd stuff. That'd be fucking
really
cool. Yeah, we waste a bunch of money on shiny cardboard, so that'd be awesome. I want to thank Schminkadelic for the use of our intro and outro. You can catch more of his tunes on iTunes and Spotify if you like that dance and trance. His music brings life to the
Boom, chicka
people.
boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom.
Brings life to the people. People come alive, and he raises the dead with his music. It's both awesome and scary.
We can't get the zombies out of here, man.
No, but they love his music. Hey, shit. Thanks again to everybody for listening. Once again, this has been The Men of Zen. My name is Brent.
I'm Samurai Phil.
Ooh,
Lamar.
Samurai Phil Lamar. That's a good one. Hey, thanks everybody for listening again. Everybody stay zen.
For more media entertainment podcasts like the one you just heard, check out The Barn. Anime, music, sports, and video games, The Barn has everything that you need.